morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing good. We were doing consolidated financial statements. Yes. So in consolidated financial statements, almost everything we have done, we were looking at some examination questions. One problem we already saw yesterday. Some more problem we're going to continue in today's session. But this session we'll try to do the problem, or we try to present the solution in the Excel format, because that is the format in which you need to present in your examination, right? Okay. For all your numerical driven, you will be given a spreadsheet. So Excel sheet basically wherein you need to solve there. For your normal other things, you'll also be given a notepad where you can write. Okay, it'll be either a notepad or a spreadsheet kind of a thing. So let's solve. Normally consolidation question will be spreadsheet driven. So let's try to solve this examination question with the help of spreadsheet. Okay, the question is Runner and Co. It's one of the examination question. On 1st April 20X4, that is 2014, Runner Co. acquired 80% of Joggers Co. That means Runner is the parent company, Jogger is the subsidiary company. With 80%, you're going to get the control. Yes. When the retained earnings of Jogger and Co. was 19.5 million. Okay. So this is the retained earnings on the date of acquisition or on the date of control. Okay. The moment you read this, what you click? This is relevant for which working note? Working note number 2, net asset or post-acquisition reserve. Yes. Okay, that is one. The consideration consisted of 42.5 million cash. Okay. Paid on 1st April 2014. Further cash payment of 21 million deferred. So we are giving some deferred consideration. Okay. And this consideration will be paid on 1st April 20X5. So got the control on 1st April 20X4, but you're paying the consideration on 1st April 20X5, meaning 1 year later. So it's a deferred consideration. We know what to do for this. Yes, this 21 million is not the present value, but it is the future value because you're going to settle in 1st April 20X5. So hence, what do we need to do? We need to take the present value factor and find out its present value. They would have given discount factor. Let's run through this. No accounting entries has been made with respect to deferred cash payment. Super duper accountant we have. For deferred cash, okay, he has not even accounted. In the last problem which we did know, deferred cash, he had accounted at full value. Okay, at future value. In this problem, he has not even recorded it. Okay. Runner and Co. has a cost of capital of about 8%. We require cost of capital for our present value calculation. That they've given it to be 8%. The appropriate discount factor, even discount factor also they've only given, which is 0.926. Good problem. So find out present value, what do we do? Take 21 million multiplied by 0.926. You're going to get the present value of that deferred consideration. This is relevant for me in my goodwill calculation as such. Yes, fair enough. Since it's a deferred consideration, yes, it's a financial liability. So we'll have to put up that ACM table and calculate also. That also would be a requirement. We have done 3-4 problems. We have done of that kind. Yes. The draft summarized financial position of the company as on 31st March 20X5. So we have got the control on, date of control is 1st April 20X4. The year is ending on 31st March 20X5. At the beginning of the year, we have got the control. So they have given the balance sheet of this particular company. Simple one. Okay. Nothing much fancy in this. Okay. Fair enough. Everything looks okay. Except here maybe each share ka face value is about $1. That we may require it in future. So let me underline that and keep it. Okay. This is one information. Next is they have given the other things. All right. There are a couple of ways in which you can solve these questions. Okay. One is read all the questions, read the question fully, then start solving it as per the working note. Read it fully and then go working note by working note. You do it. At the end, you prepare consolidated statement of financial position. That is one way to present it. But that takes a lot of time. Okay. Another best way to present is first have the format ready, because you know consolidation is mostly the same formats will come. Present the first have the balance sheet, then have all the working notes ka format ready already in Excel. As in when you read the question, put its impact in the working note. That will be a lot easier. Okay, I would suggest that method. So I will solve this particular question using that method in this particular problem. Okay, let's see how it works. So first in my Excel sheet, I'll keep this as a base. Okay, and I'll try to create an Excel format first. Okay, this is my Excel. So we need to prepare consolidated statement of financial position. As on which date we need to prepare consolidated statement of financial position? 31st March 20X5. So let me have the balance sheet format ready already. Okay. So I'll have 3 columns. First column for the particulars, meaning equity, PPE, etc., etc. Second column for the workings. Third column for the amount. All the amounts is in dollar, and I think all the amounts are in $1,000. Yes. Okay. So yes, all the numbers they've given in thousands. So first I will copy the same balance sheet information what they've given. Okay. First thing will be what? It will be assets. Under assets, it will be non-current assets. Under non-current assets, you will have property, plant and equipment, PP. Yes. Then investment. We know when we prepare consolidated financial statement, investment will not come. Instead of investment, what will come? Goodwill. So I'll have this also. Okay. If you're not sure what components is going to come, leave 1 or 2 lines and then write the other component. So this is on my non-current asset side. Okay. Next will be my current assets. So I'll leave 1 or 2 lines just in case anything extra I need to fit in. So current assets. What are the current assets they've given in the question? They've given inventory, trade receivables. Maybe what I can do is why to type. We have this anyway luxury of copying. So let me copy it. Okay. Inventory, trade receivables and bank. Yes. So these are my current assets. So if there are more, leave 1 or 2 lines and then do the other one. Okay. This will give me my total. I'll leave 1 or 2 lines and then write total assets. Fine. Like this. So what I'm going to do is this is my working column. Okay. This is my particulars column. This is my working columns. So in my working columns, I will present everything. Okay, PPE ka. First, I will write what is the value of PPE given in the question, sir. They have given 445,800. Let me copy that. Then plus 44,700. Okay, let me write this. Then I will just see if there's any. We know that there could be some fair value adjustments, excess depreciation. Those sort of adjustments could come. So I'll leave this as it is. Okay. When I read the adjustment come across, I'll update it again. Investment, I know that it is 55,000. Okay, so I'll write this as 55,000. I know that investment in subsidiary cannot come. However, if you have any investment in associate, that will come. If you have investment in some other company altogether, that will come. So I don't know of this how much investment is only in subsidiary. So this is what I've identified. I'll just leave it at this. Next will be our inventory. Inventory will be what? Okay, so I will just write here 22,000 plus another one. What is the other one given? Plus another one given to be value is about 16,000. So let me copy that. Okay, unfortunately you will not have the copying mode. Okay, but when you're doing this, you should have a clarity. Like inventory, what can come? If there is any goods in transit, it will be added. If there is any unrealized profit, it will be reduced. The moment you are doing all this, okay, you should understand. We have almost, this is the 30th problem we are doing in class. Okay, so you should have got a clarity over it. Yes. So these are some adjustments that should run in your mind as and when you're doing. If you're getting that clarity, 100%, you'll be able to answer it within the stipulated time. Normally for these sort of questions, you need to answer within 35 to 40 minutes, not more than that. Okay. So if you have that clarity, aram se you will get it. Now trade receivables. Trade receivables, what is the thing? For parent, it is this much. For subsidiary company, it is 9,000. Okay. So I've just copied that. Trade receivables, what can come? If there is any cash in transit adjustment, we need to consider that. And if there is any intercompany or intra-company transaction, that we need to eliminate. Okay. So those could be adjustments coming in trade receivables as such. So let me open the back bracket and keep it as it is. Okay. Then bank balance will be 2,800, 2,800 and 1,500. Yes. So that is your bank of funda. I don't have to keep the bracket also. I can just keep it as it is also. Okay. This is my bank bar. So that means my asset side is more or less over. I'll do the same exercise for equity. In equity, what will come? Will subsidiary ka equity share capital come? No, only who's come? Parent ka will come. How much is the parent ka? So total assets over. Then I will give the heading as. Heading will be what? Equity and liabilities. Under that, it will be equity. Under equity, you will write equity shares of $1 each. We know that only parent ka will come, but there could be a possibility. We have done in one cases where parent has issued the shares, but accountant of parent did not record it. So there could be some adjustments like that. So for the time being, I'll just write this as 202,500. If there is no adjustment, I'll push the same number to the outer column. Okay. So I don't know. For retained earnings, we have to put up a working note. So it will come from working note. So here I'll write retained earnings, and in here I'll write working note. Whatever is the working note number is that. Normally it is working note number 6, I think. Yes, 5 or 6. So I'll give a reference to that later. So I'll write W. It could be W6 or W5 or whatever, depending on the problem. So that becomes your total equity. Now we'll start out with current liabilities. Under current liabilities, what are you going to write? Current liability, it will be trade payables. Okay. So we'll write trade payables. Trade payables may, for parent it is 81,800. For subsidiary it is 17,600. There could be adjustments like if there's any cash in transit we have done, or if there's any intra-company transaction. Those two are the adjustments that could come here. We'll see that. Okay. Reshma is saying PP value is 455,800. 455,800 plus 44,700. Okay, I copied the same value here. Oh, okay, this is 44,700. Thank you, Reshma. Okay, so I will update the number. Okay, just parent and subsidiary ka data I'm copying. This will make sure by doing this, what will happen is you don't have to read the data again and again. That is one advantage by doing this, having the format ready. Okay, so I'll try to show it like this, or I'll show you another method also. Okay, I'll tell you another method also. Whichever you're comfortable, you do it. So this is your trade payable. That's it. So we have captured everything from the balance sheet so far. Now let me come to the adjustments. Adjustment number 1. What does that saying? Now good thing is I know. Okay, after this what will come? All your liabilities over, so it will be total equity and liabilities. Yes, maybe I'll leave 1 or 2 lines and then write, or maybe total equity and liabilities. Just in case if there is any extra adjustment, so I will leave couple of lines just to be sure. Then I will start with my working note. What is my working note number 1, guys? We know this. What is working note number 1? Working note number 1 in your consolidation is group structure. Yes. So we'll have group structure in place. Okay. So I'll leave about 2-3 lines for that. Then it will be what? Working note number 2. What is working note number 2 for? Working note number 2 is for post acquisition profits, or you can write net assets and post acquisition reserves, because that is what this working note gives, right? Post acquisition reserves as such, or profits. So what is the format of this? It will be particulars, then second column will be net assets on the date of acquisition, or on the date of control you can write. Yes, date of acquisition. And next column will be net assets on the date of reporting. Yes, net assets on the date of reporting. Last thing will be difference. That difference only we call it as post acquisition profits. Yes, so let me have that ready as well. Post acquisition profits. Okay, we know that many adjustments will come here. What are the adjustments? If you can, whatever you can remember out of memory, you can go on updating it. So what will come here? One will be your share capital. Yes, no. Okay, share capital. Another one will be your retained earnings. So this will test you how often you are revising this one. Okay, because this is the 30th problem. You should be knowing all this. Share capital, retained earnings, then what and all can come. If there is any fair value adjustments, that can come. If there is any unrealized profit, meaning subsidiary has sold goods to parent, and if there is any unrealized profit, that can come here. Okay, so like this, some adjustments can come. So I'll leave about 5-6, but I'll leave a good enough space for this, and then I'll start my next working note. Okay, so working note number 3, I'll start off here maybe, or maybe some more. Okay, anyway, Excel like goes on. No? So working note number 3. What is working note number 3? Help me out here. Keep responding so that I know that you're there, not sleepy. Okay, working note number 3 will be for what? What is working note number 3 for? Working note number 3 will be for goodwill. Yes, perfect. So how do you calculate goodwill here? What and all we require for goodwill? One, we require parent's cost of investment. Yes. So have that format first. Parent's cost of investment. Under parent's cost of investment, sometimes they will give, sometimes we have to compute. So leave about 3-4 lines for parent's cost of investment. Then write what? Next, what do you consider? After parent's cost of investment, what do you consider? You have to consider add fair value of non-controlling interest. Yes. Okay, this generally will be given to you in the problem. From this, what do? We deduct what? Net assets, NA. Net assets on which date? On the date of control or on the date of acquisition. Yes. So if you do this, you're going to get what? Goodwill on the date of control. But there could be one more thing. What is that? This goodwill could be impaired. Yes. So write some impairment loss. If you deduct impairment loss, what are you going to get? Goodwill on the date of reporting. That is what you need to show in your consolidated balance sheet. Yes, so this is my working note number 3. So, alright, this is also over. Next, working note number 4. What is my working note number 4 for? Non-controlling interest. So, what do I start with non-controlling interest? First, I will take NCI on, first I will say NCI on the date of control. Apologies for the typos. I'm using a different laptop, so my speed is not that great here on this. Yeah, so some mistakes I'm doing here and there. Okay, so we take NCI on the date of control. To that, what do? We add something. What does that we add? Add post-acquisition profit. Okay, if I say add symbol, it will give a formula. Okay, so I'll just write here post-acquisition profit of which company? Post-acquisition profits of subsidiary. Yes. Okay. Then what do? What else can come? If there is any impairment loss, yes, whatever you can remember on the format, no, write it. Anyway, you're practicing now, so don't worry whether all this adjustment is there in the question or not. When you're practicing, bring in as many adjustments as possible that you can think of. You type it so that you'll know, and also time it. How much time are you taking? Because all these are time essential activity. If you're giving 15-20 minutes extra, then everybody will solve this question. It is, are you able to solve this under 40 minutes is the crux. Okay, so always time it when we're doing this. Okay, now you don't time because I'm explaining and doing it, so it'll take a little time. But when you're practicing, bring in all the adjustments and time it. So impairment loss on what next? Impairment loss on goodwill. Yes, this is one adjustment. So if you consider all this, what are you going to get? NCI, maybe we'll leave a couple of space just in case anything we need to fit in. NCI on the date of reporting. Yes, so we've considered all this now. Fine, next is what? After NCI, next working note will be working note number 5, which is retained earnings. Correct? No? Retained earnings to be shown in consolidated balance sheet. So how do we take with retained earnings? First, what do we take? First we start with parents' retained earnings. Correct? To that, what do? Add subsidiaries post acquisition, or you can write parents' share of post acquisition profits of subsidiary. Yes, this is one adjustment. Okay, after that, if you want, you can just extend the column. I am doing wrap text here. Okay, this is one. Okay, then what do? If there is any impairment loss, check here only. You have written impairment loss on goodwill. Now copy that only. Impairment loss on goodwill. Control C, Control V I'm doing. So impairment loss on goodwill. That is one. Okay, then what can come? Perfect. Sam is saying unrealized profit. Awesome. When will unrealized profit come? Unrealized profit will come into this working note when parent has sold the goods to subsidiary. So then only it will come in retained earnings. Yes, that is one. And then if there is any finance cost, yes, on a deferred consideration. You remember sometimes deferred consideration they will not account. If they have not even accounted deferred consideration, then finance cost, the deferred consideration is a financial liability. On that finance cost will come as per ACM. So even that will come. Finance cost on deferred, in this problem, this is very much there. Finance cost on deferred consideration. Yes. So that we can think of. Anything else? These are a few things we can think of. Rest anything is what? If there is any associate, then what you will do? Associate share of profit also will come. Yes. So associate, parent's share of post-acquisition profit, not of subsidiary. This time parent share of post-acquisition profit of associate. Alright, so these are the things we could think of. There could be more adjustments here also. Okay, I'll leave about 2-3 more lines and then write retained earnings in consolidated statement of financial position. If I add all this, then I'm going to get this. Yes. Okay, then you can have one working note. Working note number, this is your working note number 5. You can have one working note for, generally they give one working note for unrealized profit. So you can have working note number 6 as unrealized profit. That generally will be there. Somebody is saying ACM table. Yes, ACM table, if required, we'll put it up. It's not necessary you have to put up ACM table. You can calculate it other way around also, I've shown you. Okay, unrealized profit generally calculation will be there. So I'm just going to calculate this. So this is my structure. So I have this ready. Okay, if you have this ready in 10 minutes. Now when you read the question, you go on plugging the numbers as and when you come across. This will be faster according to me. If you don't want to do this, another method is read the question, then do working note by working note. If you feel you are not able to, you don't have the confidence that you will be able to finish this question within 33 minutes or 35 minutes, then what you do is present all the working notes first, because you'll get a lot of marks for the working notes. First do working notes and then see if you have time, complete the balance sheet, otherwise leave it and move on. That is another approach as well. Okay, I feel if you practice with this, you can very much solve it. It's workable. Okay, all right. Now I've read till the balance sheet. Question ka balance sheet I've said. Now I'll read the adjustment as and when I see it. Keep on plugging it. Runner's policy. Runner is what here, sir? Runner is a, like, if you forgot, runner is what here? Runner is acquired the share. So runner is the parent company, and the other one, Jogger, is a subsidiary company. So it is a parent's policy to value non-controlling interest at fair value on the date of acquisition. So we are valuing NCI under fair value method. The fair value of NCI on the date of control, they have given it to be 13 million. Now you know where this will go, where and all this will go, guys. It will go to two places. One, you require this for your goodwill calculation. Now come to your goodwill working note. Straight away I'll come to goodwill working note, because there you require under goodwill, you require fair value of NCI. No, all the numbers I'll present in thousands. Okay, so for every working note I'll write $1,000. So fair value on the NCI on the date of control. This is, if you want, you can write on DOC date. How much is that? They told it is 13 million. So 13 million, if I have to write, it will be 13,000. Yes, that's all. Huh? No, this working note will also go where? I need to calculate NCI also. No, so I'll come to NCI and then write NCI on the date of control is 13,000. This way automatically it gets plugged, or link it. Press is equal to. Okay, like this, if you link it, press automatically any changes you make it here. Suppose from 13 I make this as 14. Okay, then automatically this also will become 14 if you link it. Okay, just press is equal to button. That's it. How to link it is plug in one number and here come to that respective cell and press equals to and link that cell. That is another advantage of doing that also. Correct? So this makes the things easier for you. Okay, so this is done for. Yes, so I've given its numbers. Okay, next, first adjustment is over. Second one will be fair value of Joggers, that is subsidiary company ka other assets and liability and contingent liability on 1st April 20x4, that is date of control, were equal to carrying amount. They're saying fair value and carrying amount is same, with the exception of specialized piece of plant which had a fair value of $10 million in excess of its carrying amount. They're saying fair value of most of the assets and the carrying amount is same, except one plant we have. That fair value is greater than the carrying amount by 10 million. We have done this. This is a fourth or fifth problem. So where and all this should go? It's a fair value adjustment. So where it will go? Under your net assets. Yes, no, working note number 2. Perfect. If you are able to identify that, 100% sure you will be able to complete the paper. Okay. So share capital, retained earnings. There could be some securities premium also here. Okay, if at all they give. You remember one problem we saw, securities premium. And there could be revaluation reserve also. That could also come. Okay, and we saw in yesterday's case. So I'll just, there's a format, so I'm giving you as much information as possible. Below this, I will write fair value adjustments. Fair value and adjustments on which asset now? Fair value adjustments on, this is a plant, right? Fair value adjustment on plant. Okay, how much is the fair value adjustment, sir? They're saying it is in excess of 10 million. So that means this will be 10,000. On the date of acquisition, I should write 10,000. Yes. On the date of reporting also, I will write same. Instead of copying again, I'll just link it. So if I write here 5,000, this will automatically become 5,000 like that. Okay, that's it. No, if the plant is a depreciable asset, if fair value increases, then a corresponding one more will come. What will one more come? Excess depreciation also will come. Yes, that is what they've given here the information for. This plant had a 10-year remaining useful life. That means if fair value increases, that means you'll get some excess depreciation. Excess depreciation due to fair value adjustments. I'm doing wrap text here, or you can extend the column, your comfort. Okay. So when will depreciation come, sir? You bought the asset, date of acquisition is opening. Date of control is 1st April 20x4. You're preparing consolidated balance sheet as on 31st March 20x5. That means 1 year over. Correct. So how do you calculate depreciation here? Depreciation, if I have to calculate, I'll have to show the working here. So I'll show the examiner that, boss, fair value is increased by 10,000. This should be depreciated over 10 years. We have only 1 year over. So I'll write 10,000 divided by 10, which will be how much is the excess depreciation? 1,000. Correct? Huh? Comfortable, everybody? So excess depreciation is 1,000. Any doubt, anyone? 10 million divided by 10 years, which is 1 million. 1 million is 1,000. Okay. This I need to plus or I need to minus. This 1,000 I need to plus or I need to minus. I need to minus because at the date of reporting, you have used the asset. No. So cost of the asset will reduce. So I've shown it as a reduction here. Okay. That's it, or one more. This automatically you can plug it where? In your balance sheet automatically. Now, if you remember, now the value of the PP will be same. Huh? No, come back to the balance sheet. We are tying out everywhere. As in when you read the adjustment, we are finishing out. Now PP will be same. Huh? No. This is the carrying amount of PP what is given in the balance sheet. To this, what do I need to do? There is one fair value increase. How much is fair value increase? 10,000. Due to this fair value increase, I also got some excess depreciation. Yes, no. So this I need to write in my examination. Understood? Correct? Now if I just give a plus sign here, automatically it will be computed. So 5,09,500 will be the value of PP in your consolidated balance sheet. Did you get it? This way you can tie out everything. From the working note, straight away you can match it to balance sheet. Is this approach working out for you? Are you able to understand? The guys who are this thing? Yes, no issues, right? Yes, awesome. So this is another tie out. Alright, then this adjustment fully I have done. Next, I will go for another adjustment. What is the next adjustment? In December 20X4. Or one moment, hang on. Year is ending on which date? Year is ending on 31st March only, no? Okay, so they gave December year. Okay. In December 20X4, that is during the current year, Jogger, that is a subsidiary company, sold goods to Runner. So subsidiary has sold goods to the parent here for $6.4 million. So this is the total sales. Earning a gross margin. Sir, it is not markup. Here they're using the term margin. Margin is always on what? Margin is always on sale. So clearly they've given it also. Gross margin is 15% on sales. Runner, okay, that is a parent company, still held 4.8 million of these goods in its inventory. Okay, that means unrealized profit made to calculate. Yes, there's an unrealized profit, right? Which one will you calculate? On 6.4 or on 4.8? You'll calculate unrealized profit only on the goods remaining, which is 4.8. So this number is relevant for me. Correct? No. And who has sold the goods? Subsidiary has sold the goods. If subsidiary has sold the goods, I mean subsidiary has unrealized profit. They made profit. No. That means it is unrealized. So subsidiary ka profit has been increased. Which working note gives me my subsidiary ka profit? Working note number 2. So if subsidiary has sold the goods, so it should come here. Yes. So here one more adjustment will come. Unrealized profit. Okay. Or maybe what you can do is unrealized profit ka. Or if you don't want to put up a working note, you can put it. We don't have to do a specific working note. This is easy only. Here only you can show. Unrealized profit on sale made by whom? Sale made by subsidiary to parent. Okay. So here only if you want you can calculate, or we can do it as like separate working note. Okay, maybe I think we have the working note, so maybe I'll just put it up in the working note so that it will be a little easier for you. In the examination, the choice will be yours. Okay, whether to show it separately or show it like that only. Working note number 6. Okay, first I'll find out the total, or can I do it in one liner only? Would that be okay with you? Unrealized profit. How do you get unrealized profit? That will be nothing but what? We have to show the working here, okay? Straight away you can't calculate. How much is our sale value? 4.8 million, which will be 4,800. 4,800 is the goods remaining. Yes. Okay. How much is the profit margin? 15% on sale. So directly into 15%. No? So write into 15%. Okay. This you need to show to the examiner. So now copy the same thing here and press equals to button. You will get the answer automatically. If you write plus, if you insert plus symbol or equals to symbol, it will automatically calculate. So unrealized profit is 720. Okay, fine. Now, okay, so now this is the unrealized profit. Where will this go, sir? Where will this go? Unrealized profit go to? In your working note number 2, come back to working note number 2. Under that, you write unrealized profit. Which side? On the date of acquisition or on the date of control? After acquisition, we sold the goods. No, that means this should be in the date of acquisition. Either you can link it or you can write 720. Positive number 720 or negative 720. You need to write minus 720 because subsidiary ka profit is increased. No, since we need to reduce it. So minus 720. Manageable. That's all impact or one more impact. So it's an unrealized profit. Correct. That means who has sold the goods? Subsidiary sold goods to the parent. That means is parent ka inventory shown at cost price? No. No, it includes subsidiary ka margin. That means inventory is shown at higher price. No. So unrealized profit should also be eliminated from inventory. So come back to your balance sheet. Under your balance sheet, come to inventory. You have already written inventory here. No. From this, you write one adjustment you need to do. That is minus 720. Understood? Like this. This is the linkage. One adjustment getting targeted everywhere. Like this, we are plugging in. Okay. So this over. Anything else is there? Next adjustment is there. Jogger Co. still had a full invoice value of 6.4 million in its trade receivable on 31st March 20x5. Runners payable only showed 3.4 million. Okay, so it's actually Jogger and Runner are doing some transaction. All these are known as what? Intra-company transaction. Can we show this in consolidated balance sheet? No, we need to eliminate. But Jogger ka is showing 6.4. Subsidiary company ka receivable is 6.4. But parent ka payable is only 3.4. Why? Because parent company has made the payment which is in cash in transit. Remember, we have done such adjustment. That's what they've given here. As it made the payment of 3 million on 31st March 20x5, which was not recorded by Jogger. So this is what, sir? Cash in transit. Okay, if you want, I can give you for your reference. What is the journal entry for cash in transit here? Parent company has already paid to subsidiary. That means they have already written subsidiary company account debit to cash. Subsidiary has not recorded this. So the journal entry you pass is cash in transit account debit. Okay, to what? Whom did we receive this from? To parent. Parent here is runner, no? To runner account you need to write here. Okay, worth how much? 3 million. This only I'm writing for your reference. Okay, so that journal entry so that you will be able to call out the impact. So here what do you need to do? What do you need to do? Receivable of subsidiary company, first you need to reduce. Okay, because this entry, by crediting this, runner is a receivable, right? So first reduce that by 3,000 and add that to cash in transit. Yes, we have done. This has come in 3-4 problems already. Okay, so come to your receivable side first. Under the receivable side, what you're going to do is first reduce. How much? 3,000 cash in transit. And immediately that 3,000 cash in transit should be added to bank balance. Correct? No? Because you debited cash in transit account debit. So add that here. Okay, once you do that, from 6.4 receivable will be, you reduce by 3. So 6.4 minus 3 will become 3.4. Now payable is also 3.4. Receivable is also 3.4. What is that 3.4? It is intercompany transaction. What we should do for that 3.4? We should eliminate. So one more will come. Minus 3,400 intercompany transaction. If you want, I can give you a reference here. This 3,000 is nothing but CIT. CIT as in cash in transit. Okay. This 3,400 is intercompany transaction or intra-company. Intra-company. Only for your reference I'm writing. Okay. You can write it like this in examination. That is acceptable. Manageable. Okay. So if you do this, then you're going to get the final number of receivables. This for the receivables. Similarly, same adjustment you have to do in payable also. From payable, you need to reduce how much? 3,400. If you do this, you're going to get the final value of payable and receivable. Okay, this is a final payable. Receivable will be plus 35,300 plus 9,000 minus 3,000 minus 3,400. So if you do that, receivable is 37,900. So receivable payable is done for. Like this, it will get correlated. Okay, so that I don't have to read the adjustment again and again. Check, I read the question once. Everywhere I've tied out my adjustment already. Yes. Okay, so prepare consolidated statement of financial position. That's what they've asked. Fine. This is a second requirement. Second requirement, we'll see it later. Now I have to just go on updating the other things. I'll go on finishing my working notes now. Working note number 1, that is my group structure, which they had given, no? How much percentage parent had purchased, that we should have written initially only. 80%. So group structure is runner has 80% in Jogger. That means NCI has how much? NCI share is equal to 20%. Yes? Okay. This is my first working note. Done for. Now I require net assets on the date of acquisition and on the date of reporting. So I'll use this approach. First, they've given balance sheet on the date of reporting. So I'll copy this as well. This I should have done it, but okay, no problem. Okay. Share capital. So this is for the subsidiary company. Okay. So this is 25,000. This is 25,000 and then retained earnings is 28,600. So share capital will not change. So this is the same value. So you can link it is equal to this. If you do it, automatically it'll come. Retained earnings, they would have given an adjustment somewhere, I think. Yes. Where is that? I think in the first line only, I think they gave that. Retained earnings was 19.5 million on the date of acquisition. We underline that, which is 19.5 means 19,500. Now I'll calculate the difference. Difference will be this minus this. Okay, I can copy the formulas, Control C, and if you just select the cells and press equals to button, all the formulas will be automatically copied so that you don't have to calculate once again everything again and again. Okay, so similarly, I'll do a total here as well. Total, you can write sum, and you can write one bracket and you can add it up from here to here at the end. You can just select the rows like this. I think all of you are comfortable with these sort of calculations in Excel, right? So if you do this, you're going to get the value. Automatically the difference is calculated. Okay, fine. This is the thing. Okay, so I have just updated retained earnings here. Security premium we don't have in the question. Revaluation surplus also we don't have. Okay, so that is not there. Fair value adjustment we already got it. Excess depreciation due to fair value also we got it. That means it looks like everything is fine, no? Yes, actually we should have done the other way around. So give the formula link the other way around. So write this minus this. Okay, this minus this. Then copy the formula, it will be easier. Okay, this is your post-acquisition profit. Manageable, correct? That is what they have given it here also, I think. Yes, so I'm giving you the solution as such. Okay, just for cross-checking, that's it. 7380. Like this, it will tie out. Fine. I've given the solution here only. Okay, no problem. We will just check it maybe at the end. Okay, 1 minute. Now we'll come back to the question. So working note number 2 is over for me. So now working note number 3 I can finish. Parent's cost of investment. Here parent's cost of investment given straight away, or we need to compute? I need to compute. Why? Because parent has given one cash and he has also given one deferred consideration. Here, no, how much cash he gave? I will add that. In fact, I can show the working. If you want, I can show the working, or I think it's fine here. Cash is how much? Cash is 42.5 million. So that will be 42,500. And next will be deferred consideration. Will we take deferred consideration or will we take present value? We'll take present value of deferred consideration. Okay. The moment present deferred consideration comes, always watch in mind, present deferred consideration is a financial liability. On that financial liability, finance cost will definitely be there. Okay. That they would have not accounted. So we need to consider that. Okay. That is one adjustment in retained earnings we need to take care of. Okay. Present value of deferred consideration. Okay. So if you want, you can show this also as a working here, or here only we can show the working. Not a big deal. How much will be that? We are paying them how much? 21,000. Okay. And this one they only given annuity factor. How much is the present value factor they've only given? 0.926. So multiply. This I'm just showing to the examiner how the calculation is arrived at. Okay, so if I just calculate here again, 21,000 multiplied by 0.926. So I'm going to get 19,446. This is your total cost of investment. If you add this, you're going to get total cost of investment. Okay. All right. Next, anything else is there? Fair value of NCI, I've already got it. Net assets and the rate of control. I don't have to compute. I've already calculated here. I'll link it. What is the net assets and the rate of control? 54,500. So this I need to reduce. So I'll write is equal to minus. So automatically. So the goodwill will be just sum up everything. Sum up everything, you're going to get the goodwill. So goodwill I'm getting is 2446. Yes. We read the question. Did we get any impairment loss? No. That means goodwill on the date of reporting also will be what? You can link the formula. This minus this. So automatically goodwill is also 2446. Easy. Yes. That is what they've given here also. We can just cross check so that you don't have, will not be a waste of time. 2446 is your goodwill. Okay. All right. Now come back to the other one. So net assets. Next is NCI. NCI and the rate of control we have already plugged. Next is post-acquisition profit. How much is post-acquisition profit of subsidiary? That we already have. Post-acquisition profit of subsidiary is how much? That my post-acquisition profit is 7380. That multiplied by, I need to give NCI share. NCI share is how much? I think 20%, right? So multiplied that. Okay. Or maybe it's not coming in. No issues. How much is post-acquisition profit? 7380. 7380 plus into 20%. That will be 1476. Impairment loss on goodwill is not there. So this is okay. So NCI and the rate of control will be this plus this minus impairment loss. There is no impairment loss here. So I'll leave it as it is. So NCI on the date of control is 14,446. So working on number 4 is also over. Next will be retained earnings. Retained earnings will start with parents' retained earnings. Parents' retained earnings is how much they gave the question. Parent's retained earnings was 286,600. So this is your parent retained earnings. Next will be parent share of post-acquisition profit. Post-acquisition profit was 7380. So 7380 multiplied by 80%. So if you do that, 5904 will be your parent's equity. Impairment loss is not there, so I'll give it a 0. Unrealized profit. Here subsidiary had sold the goods, yes, or parent had sold. Who had sold? Subsidiary had sold. This will come only when? This unrealized profit will only come when parent has sold to subsidiary. Because in that case, parent would have made the profit, no? Hence, parent retained earnings would have increased. Hence, you need to consider it here. Here, subsidiary has made. That's the reason this will not come in this particular question. So, this is 0. Finance cost on deferred consideration is there. Can you tell me? Finance cost is there. Do we first of all have deferred consideration? Yes. How much is your deferred consideration? Deferred consideration is 19,446. Yes, no? So, that means your this one will be how much? 19,446. You need to show the calculation. So, here you'll write 19,446. What is the cost of capital? I think it was 8% or something, right? What's the cost of capital? 19,446 it is. I think we'll go to the question once again. I think it is 446 only if I remember right. Cost of capital is where it went. First line there, no? One minute, let me find that cost of capital first and reconfirm. Yeah, I think it is 8% only. Here it is given. Yes, this is 8% only. So calculate ACM table. That's what you do. No, take opening balance multiplied by discount factor, which is 8%. Repayment is not there. So if you just multiply 8%, you're going to get the answer. No, so 19,446. Or here actually the calculation only was not required. Why, sir? Because see, your balance sheet date is what? 31st March 20x5. When do you need to settle the deferred consideration? You got the control on 20x4. When did you say you will pay the money? On 1st April 20x5 only, no? That means how much you need to pay? 21,000. 19,446 is the value on the date of control, and the date of reporting it has to be how much? It has to be 21,000. Yes, no? So instead of this, you can do it like this also. 21,000 minus 19,446, because here the term is only 1 year. Normally in deferred consideration, the term will be 4-5 years. Hence we put up the table. Here it's only 1 year, no? So aram se you can calculate. So it will be 21,000 minus 19,446. Even you can do 19,446 into 8%. There will be a slight round off in that case. Otherwise, finance cost is 1,554. Manageable. Everybody. So I'll just pay special values because there's a minus, right? So I'll just minus this. Okay. So this is your finance cost. Parent share of post-acquisition profit of associate. Associate is not there. So this is also okay. So we got deferred consideration. Everything we have calculated. Yes. It's always a good practice to rework also. Parents retained earnings came. Post-acquisition profit. Because if you're doing mistake will be done generally here. That's the reason. Always cross-check. Parent share of post-acquisition profit came. Impairment loss on goodwill came. Unrealized profit not there. Finance cost on deferred consideration not there. Associate is also not there. So that means everything that we can think of more or less has come in here. Yes. So that means we are good to do the total, I think then. So total, let's link it. So let me give the formula is equal to summation of everything. I'll do it. If I do it, the number that is popping is 290,950. How much did they get? 290, how much am I getting? 290,950. That is my consolidated retained earnings. Unrealized profit also over. Okay. That means everything is over. Where will this retained earnings? Now all this number I need to plug into my balance sheet and complete it off. That's it. Okay. Fine. Now investment. Will investment come, guys? Investment come. Total investment is 55,000. Investment in subsidiary won't come. Yes. To subsidiary, what and all you gave as investment? One, you gave cash. How much cash you gave? You gave a cash of 40. Where is that? You gave a cash of 40 to 500. So 40 to 500 will not come. So I should write minus 40 to 500. Actually, you gave deferred consideration also, but our accountant did not account it. That's the reason I'll not minus that. That means in 55,000, 40 to 500 is the investment in subsidiary. Balance investment you made to win some other company. That will not be eliminated. Okay. So again, I'll write here 55 or 55,000 minus 40 to 500. If I do, I'm going to get this as the answer. 12,500 will come in the investment. Now goodwill. Goodwill we can link. I think our working note has a goodwill. No? Which working note? Working note number 3 has goodwill. So let me link that. Goodwill on the date of reporting is 2446. So I linked it, so it automatically updated it. So all the non-current assets are done now. Yes, so this is completely over. Inventory, any adjustment is there? I added parent ka, subsidiary ka, and I also took care of unrealized profit. That means everything looks fine here. Yes, I don't have to put the bracket. I think it will be easier without bracket only, so that I can copy the same thing here. So write like this, copy the same value here and just press or insert one plus symbol or equals to symbol, automatically it will calculate. 37,280. 37,280 is your inventory. Okay. Bank mein or trade receivable mein, cash in transit also we considered, minused it, and intra-company transaction also we eliminated. That is fine. Bank ka just again same thing, just copy paste it or insert plus symbol. I think it will be calculating it, 7,300. Okay, that also got it. That means you have total assets. Total assets will be summation of all these things. We'll do it. So this is your something happened here and didn't calculate. Okay, 624,926. Equity, what will come? Equity, what will come? We know that there is nothing. Parent did not any issue additional equity shares. So that means now there is no adjustment. Same thing will come here. Equity will be same value. Retained earnings, we have working note number 5, is it? Yes. Retained earnings, I'll write working note number 5 and I'll link it here. Working note number 5 as per retained earnings. Retained earnings is 290. This is done. Trade payable also, everything I had calculated. So this is also over. Anything else was there? Yes, non-controlling interest will come, no? So NCI will write it. Non-controlling interest. So the NCI was working note number 4, I think. Yes. So come to working note number 4 and let's link that. NCI was how much? NCI and the date of reporting was 14,446. So I think we can do the total now. $603,926. How much there? How much was the total? Not matching up. You're going the way. Anything we didn't account it? Retained earnings we took. Trade payable we took. That's it. No. Anything else we missed out? NCI also came or it didn't calculate properly. Sometimes the numbers will be wrong. We just check. 603,926 only. Yes. No. One deferred consideration was there. No. See. That we missed out. Yes, we calculated that, but we didn't bring it in here. Deferred consideration is there, no? How much deferred consideration? Deferred consideration totally you need to pay. I think how much was that they had given in the question? 21 million, no? So this is 21,000. That should come. I think now let's put a formula and see whether it is matching. This minus this. So I think now it is matching. Okay? Deferred consideration. Yes, no? Because you have paid settling on 1st April. The very next day you are settling. No, now the balance sheet got matched up. This way you need to present it. Okay? Did you get the presentation aspect of it now? As you see, the crux is to be faster here. Conceptually, you know. So you need to practice to make sure that you are able to solve it within that stipulated time. If you are able to solve it within the stipulated time, then aramse you will get it. So this is the approach. Anybody having any concerns in this question? Anyone? Others also respond so that I can proceed if there's any issues. Adjustment 4. Which is adjustment number 4? Which is adjustment number 4, sir? I didn't understand. Adjustment number 4, matlab what you're talking about in the question, no? The question. Oh, this one, no? This we have done, no, sir. 4 or 5 problems it came. Okay, simple. Jogger, subsidiary company, no, has sold goods to parent. That means they have to recover the money, no? They are showing $6.4 million in their books as a receivable. But parent is showing payable only of $3.4 million. If I have sold the goods to you, that means for me it is receivable, for you it is payable. Ideally, both of us should show the same value, correct? But here, subsidiary is showing 6.4. Parent is showing 3.4. There is a difference. How much difference? 6.4 minus 3.4, which is $3 million. There is a $3 million difference. Why? Because parent company has already made a payment of $3 million on 31st March 20x5, which is not recorded by Jogger. Parent has issued one check. They have couriered one check. Subsidiary has not received that. Since they did not receive it, they have not accounted it. If you receive check from your debtors, what is the journal entry you will pass, sir? Bank account debit to debtors. Subsidiary has not received that check. It is in transit. It's on highway. Okay. That is the reason they have not recorded. We already covered. This is a intercompany transaction. Oh? There is a trust element. In case of branch accounting, departmental accounts and all, we record transit items. So journal entry will pass. I think I gave you the journal entry also, no? Somewhere here. So we need to pass this journal entry. Subsidiary needs to pass this journal entry. Cash in transit account debit to debtors account. Debtor is a runner. So if they pass this entry from $6.4 million, debtors will reduce by 3,000. Meaning 3,000. So it will become $3.4 million. It will match out. Okay. So transit item basically. I think we have done this. The 3 questions. If I remember, there's a 4th question which is coming as adjustment. Now did you understand, Sam? Was that okay? Transit items are always recorded. It could be cash in transit or it could be goods in transit. Anything would come in the question. Okay. Oh, one more. Okay. This is for, first section is for 16 marker. There is one more section. Runner Co. acquired 30% of Walker on 1st April 20x5. Next year. Balance sheet you prepared as on 31st March 20x5. No? Over. Balance sheet over. Next year, Runner has acquired 30% in Walker. If they purchase 30% means it becomes a significant influence. So it is an associate. Yes. For $13 million. Walker, the associate, has performing poorly over the last few years. Runner hoped its influence would help to turn the company around. In the year ended 31st March 20x6, Walker made a loss of $30 million. Runner has no contractual obligation to make good the losses. Explain how Walker should be accounted in consolidated statement of financial position for the year ended. Next year when you prepare consolidated financial statement, now how you should account this is what they're asking. Also tell me calculation of carrying amount of investment. Sir, how do you show investment in associate? You show investment in associate using equity method. I told simple trick to remember equity method is what? Link investment ka performance or investment ka value with associate ka performance. If associate is making profit, investment value will increase. If associate is making loss, investment value will reduce. Here associate made a profit or they made a loss. You bought the investment for $13 million. So this is cost of investment. Here associate has made a loss. How much loss they made? $30 million. If associate made a loss means you have 30% share. No? If they make a loss, net asset will reduce. That means your investment value also will reduce. By how much? 30%. Yes, no. So calculate 30% of this 30 million, or maybe this also we can calculate it here only. One working note we can put it up and show why not. Working note number I think 7. Huh? Yeah, working note number 7. Investment in associate we'll calculate. Investment in associate. Okay, on which? On not current year, on 31st March 20x6 they are asking. Okay, so what do you do here? Take cost of investment. How much is the cost of investment? How much did we buy it for? We bought the investment for 13 million. All the numbers I'll express in thousands. So I'm just doing the wrap text there. So all the numbers I'll express in 1,000. So $1,000. So 13 million will become 13,000. Okay. Next, what do you say? If associate has made a profit, you will add. Here, associate has made a loss. So that means you will write here less parent's share of loss in associate. So how much is that? The associate made a loss of 30 million. Yes, no? That means it is 30,000. So parent ka share will be 30% of that. So into 30%. So 30,000, correct only, no? 30 million only, no? Yeah, 30 million. 30 million ka 30% is 9,000. So 9,000 is the not the profit, it is a loss. So that means minus 9,000. Okay. Other thing, if there is any, if you remember the format, what else can come in the cost of investment, sir? Parent share of profit or associate share of profit or loss will come. And anything else will come? Impairment on investment will come. Yes, no? Anyway, it's a format. So let's put in as much as we can remember. Impairment loss of investment. Yes. Impairment loss of investment will come if that is there. Okay. Then you'll write parent's share of unrealized profit. Yes. Parent's share of unrealized profit, or POP we call it. Provision for unrealized profit. POP. That is also not there. In this case, these two are not there. Anyway, formats, I have written it as such. Done. If these were there, we would have minus. So if you take this and add everything. So this plus this minus impairment loss minus this. If you do, you're going to get the final cost of investment or investment in consolidated statement of financial position. This is the value of investment you're going to show in consolidated statement of financial position. You need to tell that investment in associates should be valued using equity method and show this value. Okay, that is what they've done here. Fine. So check runner. So 4,000 is a value. So this is your marking structure. After you solve, how you're going to get the things. Based on this also you can prepare. Check. If you get the PP portion right, 2 marks. If you get the goodwill portion right, 3 marks. Current asset portion right, 3.5. Why? Because current asset had 2 adjustments here. 1, cash and transit. 2, intercompany transaction. So that hence 3.5 marks there, highest weightage. NCI and capital. Capital will be very easy. NCI will carry major marks there. Retained earnings also is the majority marks. Check there, among the highest is retained earnings because that will have the maximum adjustment. Okay. Alright. And that is the area where you can go wrong also at maximum time. So this is your awarding marks. Remaining thing is equity method accounting you need to explain. What I've written in the chart you need to write that 1 or 2 points you need to write. Calculation 2 marks. So this is how you're going to get that 20 marker as such. All this I've shared this file also with you. Now I've done the solution in Excel. That's it. Okay. All of you are clear with this now? Okay. Can we take up the next question or you want to take a break and come back? Since Excel will take a little extra time because I need to explain and do it. Okay. But if you feel okay, then I'll go ahead and do it. Or if you want, we'll take a break and we'll come back or else. Would that help for you? Maybe 15 minutes break we'll take and come. Yes? Okay, let's do a thing. Let's take 15 minutes break and come back. It'll be easier. Thank you.